Welcome in to a special presentation of the Three Goombahs. I'm your host, Aidan Liquorie. Joining me, Jake Venuti. I was corrected. Venuti. I was getting it wrong all summer. Did Jake
try my name? You better know it by now.
Dave Terpoilli.
That's good, man. You got like a little accent, a little juice on the end.
Yeah, and we decided to come in, just for the people. Some people were wanting us back on, and obviously the people get bulky, as they should, 3 days a week. But we said, we'll do a little special episode, review kind of the past 14 weeks, and most importantly, kind of preview the next 3 weeks with $1 million on the line in the main event, in the Big Gorilla. Best ball tournament's going off. It's championship sprint time. Fellas, excited to have you. I know we're going to have some special guests on at some point on the show. Let's just kick it off. Let's start off with the good. You guys had some great takes. Let's victory lap them. Jake, I'm going to start with you. What takes have you absolutely nailed this season? We're going to start with the positive.
I would say how I faded Ladd McConkey. He was wide receiver 11 going into the year. Wide receiver 24 right now. I said that Keenan Allen was going to be a factor, and he was. So I got some hate for that. But along with Ladd, I faded Chuba Hubbard. I said on the stream in the summer I was worried about Rico Dowdle, and I would rather Rico Dowdle 5 or 6 rounds later. And look what happened there. But my Swift take was, I wouldn't go, it wasn't crazy. He was drafted as RB 19. He's like RB 17. So I thought he would do a little better, but the consistency, it's there.
Terp, your number one is clear cut. He was your guy. You talked him up on every show. He's one of the best receivers in football.
It was always George Pickens. I mean, George Pickens, Jameson Williams, Dak Prescott. Those are the three that I'll start with. I mean, Jake knows. Me and Jake have been on Dak since day one. I mean, he was our highest owned quarterback in pretty much every league that we did, and that's been absolutely spot on. I mean, I've been on the George Pickens bandwagon since day one. I mean, obviously, CeeDee Lamb getting hurt helps that. And, even when he's in there, George Pickens has pretty much been the alpha outside of last week. And if Lamb does miss into the sprint coming up in the next 3 weeks with a concussion, it doesn't look like he's going to, but let's just say he does. Pickens could be that guy that separates you. But Jameson Williams, I mean, that's if the Lions knew how to use the guy. I said this take to Jake and you. We talked last week during that Cowboys game. If they knew how to use him, I mean, if Jared Goff would just let the ball go, Jameson Williams would have so many more fantasy points. So those are my three guys. I mean, we're gonna bring up some of the negatives here shortly, but they're the three guys on victory lap.
Jared Goff and letting the ball go just.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching that game, and Jameson Williams had 5 yards on the guys two different times. Just throw it up there, let him go run under it.
Once Dan Campbell took over the play calling too, Jameson Williams just took off. It seemed like it was the play calling that was the issue.
I mean, up until Campbell, he was a best ball player because he had just some huge weeks, but there was absolutely no consistency.
Very inconsistent. Early in the season, he was torturous to start in a managed league.
I'm not going to go over my takes because you can go look up my 7 guys on Twitter and see I'm hitting out like.
Don't get nervous here. I want to hear them. We all got to come up here and take our medicine.
Yeah, no. I had
the medicine and the bad.
I had JMO. That was great. Let's look at the other 6. Chase Brown, ride or die.
Chase Brown has not been. I mean, started off very.
Ride or die, though, embarrassing ride or die.
So I wouldn't.
Romo Dunze was another one. They flip-flopped. Dunze had the great start. Chase Brown had the shitty start. Now it's just, I
wouldn't say they're embarrassing, though. I'm going to give you some credit here. No. Are they the best team in the world? No.
Justin Fields, dark horse, top 5 quarterback. Terrible. Horrible. Oh, Drake May. Drake May was one of my guys. So I had MVP. Dylan Sampson, that was a shot in the dark one.
It's fine. He was free.
I think that was it. So
Matthew Golden.
Oh, I did have Matthew Golden. Yeah, that was bad.
That's a bad.
I won't forget that one.
Yeah, that was tough. That
Packers just hate it. They just hate the guy. Like he was playing
Christian
well
Watson. Christian Watson. It took us 5 minutes to
There's
talk
going
about
to be a time
Christian
for that,
Watson.
but it's not yet.
Terp, we said it perfectly when you did the stream, the best ball stream. You just want like their best ball guys.
That's it.
You like Wicks on Thanksgiving, you get that 25 point. You know,
even Christian Watson, who's been popping lately. Like I was talking to Dave the other day.
He only had a couple targets.
Watson, 24 points, 25 points on 4 targets. They just don't target a guy. They just don't give a guy 8, 9, 10 targets.
No, works for them, but unfortunate for fantasy, especially starting those guys week to week. Kind of along those lines, biggest surprise player for you guys, and also, or I'm just going to say an or, it doesn't have to be both, or biggest disappointment for you. Just guy you were supremely confident in, or a guy maybe you were down on who really surprised you with a stellar performance. I'm going to go, Joe King mentioned him. Mike Wilson becoming Calvin Johnson is unreal.
Calvin Johnson, he's like the best receiver in football right now.
Insane how good he is. Insane how good he is. I mean, we were just looking main event teams. He is on 109 of the 882. He is it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 8th most owned receiver in the main event. So Michael Wilson, to me, easily the biggest surprise. Jake was on him. Rico obviously had a run. Those are 2 guys that come to mind. There's obviously a ton of disappointments. Joe King mentions Brian Thomas Jr. in the chat, which is brutal. But I want to hear any more that you guys wanted to add for kind of biggest surprises, biggest disappointments.
Can I use Brian Thomas Jr.? Because
why not?
Yeah, I mean,
brings a lot of pain to both of us.
I'm just very surprised about that. But I did see this. The offensive coordinator on the Jags. Who is it? I'm drawing a blank.
Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
the coach.
Cohen's the one.
The offensive coordinator. He was the
Bears.
He was the.
Oh,
Bears
you're talking about Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron's he's like a quality control coach.
Right. So he had Rome Odunze last year, and Rome Odunze was awful, and then he had JSN in 2023. Right, and no one, we looked past that. But another thing was BTJ did all his work with Mac Jones, and you would think Trevor Lawrence would be an upgrade from Mac Jones, but he really didn't do good with Trevor Lawrence in 2024. Yeah. But no one wanted to talk about it. Everyone just bet on the talent. It's just they don't know how to use him. He's
his drop, though, not even scheme wise, just as a player, is kind of crazy. Like he has the yips almost at times this year. Mm-hmm. That's surprising. Beyond the usage, which is a factor, like he just doesn't look like the same talent that he was last year, which was pretty surprising. So,
two,
please.
One is just the disaster of the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, we talked about this. It was one of the things I've said all summer. Did I draft some JJ McCarthy? Yes.
You had to.
You had to.
As a volume player, you had
to. The potential. But I said it all summer, like everybody's banking on this guy to be the next Joe Montana, and he's never shown anything. And he has been probably the biggest hype bust that people have drafted this year because he controlled so many people. Jefferson, awful. Just a complete bust. Not his fault. Hawkinson, terrible. Addison, he's had some spike weeks early, but
that was early. Nothing. Last couple weeks,
but recently he's done nothing. And the other one is the disaster of the Seattle backfield. Like you drafted Ken Walker or Zach Charbonnet, you never got there ever. There wasn't like a week where you could be like, all right, well, Kenneth Walker missed 2 weeks. I got some Charbonnet. You were forced to start him in certain spots, but at the end of the day,
just when Sharps missed weeks, Kenneth Walker didn't even do that. Didn't blow up.
And then you just have there's been so many times watching Seattle games. I remember watching last week, they just throw the ball to JSN every play, which is great if you have JSN. But
JSN was a late second, third round pick, but he qualifies.
You argue that he's the number 1 receiver being drafted next year.
So we'll talk about kind of 2026 preview, might as well. I know we got some comments in the chat about Jay Jetta. We'll kind of talk about all that, just because it's always fun to preview. Us three were actually texting about it just like a week ago, just for the banter. We'll get there. But I always like asking you to, experienced players in your own right, Terp with the FFPC specifically, and then obviously Jake with the wealth of experience in the past, and then obviously in all your dealings with all these high stakes guys. So I wanted to ask you guys one thing that maybe you learned this season that is going to impact, because every year we come back, right? And you learn something from the previous year in regards.
I have a really good one.
I have two.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Turt with his really good one. What's one thing you learned this year you're implementing in 2026?
Draft in every live draft in Vegas. So you have the opportunity to do it.
Elaborate.
Because you saw some absolute monsters being built in those rooms because people were just afraid to, click Christian McCaffrey. People were just petrified of that spot. And obviously being drafted after the games in some spot, the fall of George Pickens, the fall of Dak Prescott, the fall of A.J. Brown. Obviously, A.J. Brown has been terrible most of the year, but recently A.J. Brown's been really solid. He could be a guy that could be a low-owned guy that could really, catapult you in the championship round. You're not getting that opportunity if you're drafting, late, where people say tourist season, I guess you could say, but like later, like if you're drafting August 29th, the difference between August 29th and like after the first game to me is just so substantial because you see it every year. Like last year, there really wasn't, but Javonte Williams was a, afterthought that got pushed up to, fourth round in some drafts. And yeah, it was warranted. Javonte Williams has been solid this year, even though I still think he stinks. But if I have the opportunity to draft any main events, a lot of them will be at the end of the season.
Another big surprise. I'm just going to be peppering him as I am. Javonte Williams emerging and being like a legitimate RB1 all season.
I still think he stinks, but I can't debate it.
That's impressive.
So, Terp, I have a question
real quick. Oh, if you have a question, we had a question
about the live drafts in Vegas. Do you think that the owners in the live drafts in Vegas kind of get especially the new owners that don't do a lot of volume, they get kind of nervous to say a Christian McCaffrey, so they're like, I'll just take Derrick Henry because everyone else around them they feel opposed to being online.
You've seen it throughout the years, like when Ezekiel Elliott had his holdout. People are just afraid to be that guy to be like first round Christian McCaffrey. Oops, he's out, he's hurt, right? Or I just saw a report that he might miss week 1. He has a calf this, he has a calf that. I just think that people are afraid to be that guy, and then live drafts are a different animal. We've all done them in different formats and different leagues, whatever it is. But live drafts are just a dangerous animal because, you have to pay attention. When you're clicking on a button and you're online doing a draft on your computer, everything's right in front of you. There's no you can very, very limited make a mistake. When you're drafting live and maybe not paying attention as much or maybe not locked in, you could literally get to a panic pick and you have a minute to make a pick. And you see people just take guys because, they don't, like you said, they don't want to be that guy that takes Christian McCaffrey and he's out for the year. Like the year before when he was a number 1 overall pick, number 2 overall pick, and then never played. They don't want to be that guy. So they're like, all right, I'm not going to take Christian McCaffrey. Let me just let him follow the other guy. And then you see teams built with Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jonathan Taylor. And you're like, how'd that happen? Well, that's how it happened because people that are drafting live are a little more scared. They're a little bit more tentative. They don't want to be that
they don't want people staring at them being like.
They don't want people to be like, oh, look, that's the guy Jake who drafted Christian McCaffrey. And he never played all year. Ha, ha, ha. So to me, I think live drafts are they're number one, they're extremely fun. I love live drafting. It's one of the most fun things that I know you agree with me that we could ever do. But you see just a different, people bring their sons, they're there just for a vacation. They're not as serious as you get in some of these online rooms, especially the ones early and someone's later in the game. And you're just like, oh no, what did I get myself into? You see names that you just don't want to see in drafts. And I remember one of the drafts I did this year, looking at the room when it filled, and I'm just like, I'm just going to just donate the money now. Because it's just, even if I come out of here, there's not going to be a path to success. So live drafting, all my drafts, I'm not going to say all my drafts, but a lot of my drafts this year will be live. You're back, Aidan. Frozen again. Come on, man. He's in West Virginia right now.
While he's frozen, I'll go through my 2 takes this year.
Go for it.
Unless it's Josh Allen, quarterback late in every draft. Just wait on the quarterback. Get the Drake May, get the Dak Prescott, get the, Jared Goff. Just wait on the quarterback. Unless you see it's just like Hurts, not doing great. Burrow hurt. Daniels, Lamar Jackson. Mahomes has been good. Bo Nix, it's just wait on the quarterback. Get your Herbert, get your May, get 2 of them and go like that. And then my other one was the importance of rostering 2 defenses. Like, especially in a year like this year with these bye weeks and everything, the defenses, if you can get 10 or 15 points a week, it really matters. You just look a week ahead, find out who's playing Tennessee, find out who's playing Cleveland, just pick up that defense for $1. Yep. And then, you're good. That's it. Just what's the point of having your 10th bench spot be like, your 4th tight end or your 5th running back? Just get that second defense.
You look at some of these guys who have just like held up rosters all year. Like, I love Blake Corum. I love Blake Corum coming out of college. And yeah, I know Blake Corum spiked last week, but like Blake Corum is never going to be in your starting lineup unless, number 1, you're desperate, or number 2, something happens to Kyron Williams. And I'm not in any way saying you should keep a defense over Blake Corum, but like that kind of example, like Tank Bigsby. What is Tank Bigsby doing on your roster? Yeah, I know if Saquon Barkley gets hurt, I'd rather have a defense that's playing the Tennessee Titans next week.
Right.
Or Minnesota Vikings.
Backup running back. You just keep the defense.
At the end of the day, if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt, you're screwed.
Who knows
what it is? If Gibbs gets hurt, you're done. Like you got to play like that. You got to play to win. And like you said, and that's something that like I learned from you, because I've never been a 2 defense guy. Never, ever.
Make like the points, they matter. It's just like,
I feel like this year, like you look at Seattle, and Seattle is the last 2 weeks have won people a lot of money, and then they have the potential this week. They're playing, Riley Leonard or Phillip Rivers. Like it could be another 20-point outing from a defense. And when you're on a sprint trying to win a lot of money, if you can get 20 points from your defense, it's going to separate you from everybody else. And that's
I'm not saying to draft them early, but
no. Never. We're never saying that, but
never draft them early.
Look 2 weeks ahead, look a week ahead, look 3 weeks ahead, and spend $1 on them, because they're eventually going to get to a point where they're expensive, and then you're spending your fab money on defenses. You really don't want to do that.
Right.
Boys, I am per tradition. I'm battling. You
always have like a little yippee show.
We're at a hotel. It is what it is. From a little laggy deal with me as a host, but guys,
you're good, man. You're good.
I have a special guest.
Uh-oh.
The people loved his appearance.
You love a good special guest
in draft season, and our special guest is the one, the only, Steve G.
Man, there he is, our captain.
Steve, you're on mute.
He's muted. He
came on the show.
All right, sorry, I'm off mute.
There we go, sir. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. How about you guys? How was the holiday?
We're good, man. Holiday was good. We're better now. You're here.
Thank you.
Where's your boy Hubbard at? He stood us up tonight.
Hubbard was waiting for you guys. He's playing poker. So he's in the middle of a monster game. So I said, all right, I'll fill in to start. Maybe he'll come in later.
Start it up. Tell him we need him. We need his guidance. We got to talk about his McCaffrey, Taylor, Gibbs team that he has trying to win.
Well, there's nothing really to talk about, is there? That team is monstrous.
And he drafted it live in Vegas. That's why I was just saying that's an equalizer.
So you guys were talking about the live in Vegas, and you brought up a lot of good points about people getting scared about McCaffrey and Pickens and everybody else. But I was speaking to Nelson Sousa last week, right? So he made a great comment, and it's about Hubbard, because it's guys like Hubbard that you really want to kind of model yourself in this.
Of course,
that's why you drafted that team. So Nelson says, like a Wolf of Wall Street comment. He says, when the little lambs are running away, and the big bad wolves are coming. So basically, when they see McCaffrey's tap is hurt, Pickens has a bad Thursday game, that's when guys like Hubbard attack. And they just keep doubling down. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned. You really have to be a wolf and not a lamb when you're doing this stuff.
You can't be scared to fail, because at the end of the day, you're going to have plenty of teams that fail. And if you can build a
100%.
team like that, so you're going to have a good shot.
One thing about Hubbard was the year after Amon-Ra's rookie season, so maybe 2022, whatever that was, Amon-Ra was like a 5th or 6th round, like a 4th, 5th round pick. Hubbard was taking him 2-3 turn every time. And I saw him and I'm like, why is he taking this guy 2-3 turn every time? And he exploded. He had every single team. Just he was walking around the draft room with the sheet in his hand, just Amon-Ra St. Brown, every single draft, and the dude exploded. And he cashed in. He must have cashed in that year with him. But he's 100%. Not scared.
No, he's not. And that's the best part about him. He's relentless, and he's going to stick to what he does the homework. He watches the film, and he's going to come up with an analysis, and he's going to stick to it. And 8 out of 10 times, he's going to be right.
Yeah, and the other 2 times, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
10 out of 10.
I learned some valuable lessons this year. I mean, me and Balky both look bad because he liked Pearsall and I liked Ridley. So you could tell how those guys, they flopped on us. The season. Listen, the season isn't over, and
it's a grind.
It's a grind. It's been a grind. So I had the opportunity this year on different formats to draft with a lot of different people, right? So I draft the majority of my teams in the FFPC. I'm a volume drafter here. I draft in Kentucky because Kentucky's great.
Legend.
A lot of good drafters there. Farrell's my guy. Him and Terp, they're like identical when they're drafting. So
Actually, it's opposite.
So I draft a lot and it was a great experience. And I drafted for the first year in the NFFC, which was another really, really great experience, which I'll kind of give you some variations on some stuff. But I got to draft with a lot of people. So I got to draft with Terp. Me and him basically share the same brain of fantasy. So exactly. It's not too much of a difference with waivers. It's not too much of a difference in the draft. We kind of look at things the same way. Yep. We drafted, a high society together with 13-1. Okay.
It's an absolute monster.
That was an absolute monster. That was that was pretty, that was great. We have a couple of 5Ks that we made we did 3 5Ks. We got in two from there. So, and me and Terp have become real tight. So it's not even about the drafting portion.
It's clockwork, man.
It's clockwork. Jake's my boy. We did some outside leagues together, and you look at him and he's just pretty, but actually he's pretty good at fantasy football. His waiver wire. So I'm gonna give you a funny story, right? So let me finish this. So I got to draft with Jake, which is great, and then I got to draft with arguably the 3 best players in the world. And there's more to this because I'm going to give people their credit. It's not just, but arguably 3 of the best high stakes players. I got to draft with Hubbard, who's the GOAT. I got to draft with Abib, which was one of the greatest experience. I got to draft with Nelson Sousa, which was the guy is at a different level. And drafting with those guys, it's 3 different ways to draft. Okay. It's, it makes you open your mind and understand things a little differently. But overall, you can't win, lose, or draw this year. It's irrelevant because I got the experience of doing things like that and making friendships that last forever. Like me and David and Nelson, we're really, really good friends. Abib's a great guy. Like drafting with Abib, he's the polar opposite of the way I look at things.
Yep.
So that's what makes him arguably one of the best players in the one of the best high stakes players.
How hard that is to do?
Every guy you named won either the big gorilla or the main event.
Absolutely. So drafting with him he has a different look at a lot of players that we don't look at things the same. So when we talked about waivers and when we talked about players and when we drafted, it was really different. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's an experience, and you have to also look at things and say there's not one way to do things, because sometimes you're thick-headed. Like I said, the best comment that I've had was the Nelson comment about Hubbard saying, when the sheep run away, you can't be the sheep, you got to be the wolf that's coming in, and that's how you got to take these drafts. You can't take it any other way. It has to be that way. And the experience was great. The FFPC compared to the NFFC is a real different experience. Okay. Like me personally, you draft in the FFPC because the payouts are, it's a big payout. $1 million, a big payout. Okay. And it also kind of edges everybody in a different direction because the week 13, 14 playoff kind of brings the long shot, the underdog. It gives them a chance to win. It kind of evens the playing field against guys that I just mentioned. And that's that's the market. That's it's a marketing thing that works. The NFFC is a different animal, okay? Because it's a smaller pool, not a smaller pool, but a lot. The top drafters in the world are there. I mean, you got guys there. They draft in the FFPC, but you walk into the New York. And shout out to Chris Vaccaro. He finished first overall in the NFFC primetime. All right, which is great. Me and Jake were on his tail a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We finished second overall, which was really, really good. And it's not an easy task to compete there because you have such a different type of draft, different type of whatever. But it's also you have to balance yourself. The NFFC is a different playoff format. The payouts are a little different. Advantage to the guy that to the better players. The FFPC is a tournament that you got to grind. It's a tougher tournament. It's a lot more players.
We got some monsters we're grinding here coming up.
Holy cow! Yeah, you ain't kidding. But it's a good experience. It's just it's just a different thing to say with these two formats. But all in all, really good experience. The year's not over, so hopefully we have a little more success than what we've had so far.
About it, we're going to.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we got some tough ones there. We got some
good ones, man. We're gonna make a run.
Let's talk about the championship sprint. Because that's the second kind of half of our show. I want to talk about it. So I'm gonna lead off. Terp, you mentioned JJ McCarthy and how you said all off season, this is the biggest swing guy for fantasy because all the players that he impacts. Who is that guy in the championship sprint weeks 15 through 17 in the main event, in the big gorilla, in the best ball tournament, even maybe? What's that one player who holds the cards? My mind goes to the number 1 overall pick, Jamar Chase.
It's a great one.
If you were able to survive, if you were able to survive, I mean, there's still a fair number of Jamar Chase teams. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's none. But that's a guy who has weak winning upside on his own. And I just kind of feel as though you have him probably at a way lesser rate than you anticipated when you drafted him. And you're getting a guy who very well could be the number 1 overall player for these next 3 weeks at a much lesser ownership share than you were expecting when you drafted him first overall. So that's my kind of
Jamar Chase, JJ McCarthy, Saquon Barkley. These are guys that probably are low ownership, that have favorable schedules to go to, Barkley's schedule is ridiculous. AJ Brown also. So shout out to me and Hubbard, we drafted the Platinum, the NFFC Platinum, all right, together. Okay. So everybody says, oh yeah, Steve G. Hubbard was the man in that. The moves, we're one of the 4 final teams. The work he did on that, and I didn't like AJ Brown. So when we're drafting, it was a Saturday after the game started. I never was an AJ Brown fan. Terp will tell you, I biasly did not draft the guy.
He's not lying. He really, we didn't see eye to eye on one thing, and that was that player.
That was that player
for a really long time.
For a while, but I'm glad that I'm wrong. Put it that way.
He could be a guy that could win it all for you.
So Hubbard goes, listen, I never drafted in the NFFC at that level because it's Kentucky Derby style, and you got to bid. You actually bid on your draft position, right? With Fab. So he's like, look, we want, I forgot if it was the 8th or the 9th pick he wanted. He's like, we're not going to blow a lot of Fab. And, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, we want to get Brian Thomas Jr. We want the same page. We're both BTJ, all in on BTJ. Okay.
Always. He was our guy.
And all right. And we bid it. We took AJ Brown in the 4th, and that was it. But as far as that goes, that was nuts. You know what I'm saying? As far as that goes, it was a great experience. In the FFPC, in the FFPC, Brian Thomas Jr. probably killed me on a lot of teams.
Brian Thomas Jr. is not a bad guy to have. Like if you're in a sprint, I'm not saying it's a good pick, but if you snuck through at Brian Thomas, AJ Brown is another one we talked about with Jake.
Brian Thomas, 29 teams in the main event.
Travion
another guy we
Henderson's
mentioned,
not
Mike
the worst.
Evans.
Mike
Evans
is a good
11.
one. Like
Aidan, what's Rashi Rice?
he's high.
He's got to be high.
Rashi's like the 5th highest owned, 127.
He's got to be.
Patrick Mahomes being a number one quarterback is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
I mean, JJ McCarthy still applies, right? Because if he can even just somewhat get the ball to Jefferson, there's 28 Justin Jefferson teams.
What about Jordan Love?
Yeah, Jordan Love probably an edge too. If he wakes up, if the Packers finally say, you know what,
55 teams.
But you figure a lot of that 55 is probably
like
mixed in with another quarterback. So like there might be
there's
like some
more Tyrod Taylor. There's more Tyrod Taylor teams than there are.
Harold Fannon's a good one. Sean G just said.
Harold Fannin really. I mean, he was one of my most. He was one of my most drafted tight ends.
So what do you?
Bowers
Steve,
is a good one.
Steve, how worried are you about Tyler Warren? Because he got you there, but who knows what Riley. I probably in my mind would have been more secure about Tyler Warren if the Colts asked me to come QB. Okay. Right. So now, Steve, waivers are over. So you have your Tyler Warren and your Dalton Schultz teams or whatever. Who are you going to roll out, Tyler Warren or Dalton Schultz?
Well,
because you couldn't.
Fortunately, I have no teams like that. But
I have no Dalton Schultz either. So
no. But Terp will tell you. Because we have a lot of teams together that I'm a tight end whore. I like to hoard them. Okay. Yeah. So I have a lot of tight end options. I'm not as good as Tyler Warren should have been, but let's get serious. He really hasn't performed to where the expectation has been. Right. So guys like Kobe Parkinson, right? If you pick them up with a few bucks on your last fab, I think he's going to be somebody good down the stretch. I also think with the Odunze injury, okay, they're going to go a lot of 12 personnel, Chicago. If you notice, Komet did get a little more active last game. I'm not saying that he was a league winner at this point, but if you need some depth at tight end and you pick them up for $1 last day, Komet could help you a little bit also.
Yep.
Tyler Warren, to me, unless I have to play him, I probably won't play him this week just to see where this goes.
It's tough.
Jake, what are you doing with Tyler Warren?
I mean, if you have a better, like if I'm, looking at like Tyler Warren or Schultz, I'm seriously going to consider Schultz.
Tyler Warren, Theo Johnson.
Or Breton Theo Johnson. With Dart, Theo Johnson for sure.
I was so tilted Tuesday morning. I woke up and I told myself, because week 13 was a disaster. You can recover week 14, right? But in the FFPC, if 13 lets you down, 14 is, 14's it's kind of irrelevant. Right. If you're in a main event, you play for $500. If you're out of it in the big gorillas. I woke up so tilted about this whole Colt situation, and I was going to tell myself, I'm going to call Terp, I'm going to text him, and I'm going to tell him that let's bench Jonathan Taylor for Devin Neal. That's what I was thinking about in one of the high stakes leagues.
Luckily, he never sent that message because
I didn't send it because then you would have thought I went nuts. I went nuts.
Yeah,
that Daniel Jones injury screwed up so much. Like Taylor, Pittman, Pierce,
Taylor's going to be fine, but his ceiling.
Not only that, you go into the championship round with Daniel Jones and let's just say Drake May as your quarterbacks. Now you only have Drake May. Or what if you went to the tournament with Daniel Jones and Jaden Daniels? Now you don't have a quarterback, right?
But I got to be honest, and I think Terp will attest to it. A lot of these teams, right? You have to listen to some smarter people.
Yep.
So wherever I had Dak, right? I took Joe Milton. Okay. Wherever I had May, I took Joshua Dobbs just to be on the safe side. All right. Because you have to bet on the offense. You have to bet that something happens. At least you're backed up and you're guaranteed to have a quarterback. Let's say you have Drake May and you have Daniel Jones. So now Daniel Jones is down. God forbid something happens to Drake May next week. You don't have a quarterback.
You're drawing dead.
You're
Probably monsters.
Absolutely.
Guys,
So if you listen to if you listen to the right people, sometimes you got to listen. You can't think you know it all. You change your strategy, and you go from there. Right? Go ahead.
I mean, the smartest players are the ones who listen to other ones. Important questions in the chat right now, Steve. Up your alley. Michael Wilson questions. Are you riding Michael Wilson till the wheels fall off? And then we got some specific.
Is that a serious question?
Michael Wilson, Loveland playing Houston though, Turk.
I don't care who he's playing.
I don't care who he plays either.
I'm starting Michael Wilson even if Harrison's healthy and Larry Fitzgerald came out of retirement.
He's a top 2 receiver. The rest
Listen, let's just take a step back. Hold on. Because I had this conversation this morning with Hubbard. I wish he was on. And he said that Houston defense, he was like, it's tough defense. Let's be honest.
It is. One of
the he said that he was thinking about maybe starting Pearsall over Michael Wilson. So it's not a guarantee that Michael Wilson's look, don't get me wrong. Week 10, and I got people that can attest to it. Okay, I got 2 people on here that can attest to this.
You are the Michael Wilson whisperer.
I said the following. Okay, I said because you want to know something, you could listen to a lot of content, and then we all listen to it. And there's a lot of guys out there that we respect. We listen to them. I like listening more to the high stakes guys, the guys that actually put their money where their mouth is. That's the guys I listen to, and I believe that's the best. Look, let's be honest. You go to these drafts and you're drafting. It's like I'm drafting against Nelson, and I got his cheat sheet in front of me. So the best $200 I ever spent was FTN high stakes because I'm using that guy's cheat sheet to draft. So you got to listen to the guys that actually put their money where their mouth is. Let's be serious. So week 10, and this is always in the same conversation. You got to watch football. You got to understand football. It's not only about what people say their rankings are. So week 10, I turned around. I think I told Jake and Terp, I said, guys, you know what? I'm watching this Arizona Cardinal game, okay? And Harrison Jr. was playing. I'm watching this Cardinal game, and I'm telling myself, Brissett and Michael Wilson got something going, okay? I said, there's something going on. He's looking for him. He's getting targets. Week 10 was by Mageddon, like they call it. So I said, got to pick up Michael Wilson everywhere. Cheap. You can get him a few bucks, which it only cost me a few bucks. We got him, I think, on 9 points.
Yep.
Tuesday, we're getting ready for Wednesday waivers. And I'm like, well, on some teams, really don't need Michael Wilson. So I got him queued up in a couple of drops. Then all of a sudden, we hear Marvin Harrison Jr. got an appendix. I said, well, I struck gold for no reason. So Michael Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson was one of my most picked up wide receivers across every format. And it was just, you watched football, and you said there's something that could happen here, and it's the next guy up.
And that's a league winning move. Remember how Souza he's all over Isaiah Davis. If Breece Hall went down, Souza's loaded up with Isaiah Davis. It's a league winning. It's a risk that you took, and it panned out.
And if that's true, that Kansas City didn't offer a 3rd rounder, they only offered a 4th rounder, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. If that's actually true. For Breece Hall.
For who?
Because they offered a 4th rounder for Breece Hall at the trade deadline, Kansas City. Supposedly the Jets wanted a 3rd round pick. So it didn't go through.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
That's nuts. The way that backfield and the Chiefs with the Chiefs are, not only that, selfishly I had so many Isaiah Davis shares, it would have been a different animal. It would have been.
There's still hope for them Isaiah Davis share.
Hear me out on the Chiefs thing. The Chiefs can get just as good of a running back probably at a way cheaper price than Breece Hall in like the 3rd round of a draft. This team's not winning the Super Bowl, so I can understand the argument of holding on to that pick.
At the time, they didn't think they weren't going to win.
That's true. You got to maximize.
At the time, they didn't think they were going to win.
Listen, guys I got to ask.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to ask Sean Green in the chat a brief detour from our conversation about what the hell's going on with his former head football coach at the University of Michigan. I'd like to hear his stance on that.
Don't get off the rails right now.
His coach has been fired and arrested. Arrested? Why is he arrested? He got arrested 2 hours after getting fired. Couldn't think of someone having a
wheels are coming off.
Steve, you had a comment before I went off track. What were you going to say?
I don't remember. Oh, I remember guys like Isaiah Davis, Devin Neal. Those are guys that if you picked up early enough, you didn't have to fight with them. Those guys are viable picks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Hey, on this topic, guys, Isaiah Davis is not an option. We talked about him. What's one not name brand guy? Like last year, Jalen McMillan, was in a championship winning lineup. Not the guys you expect. He had 5 for 51 and 2 the final
Adam Thielen.
week 17. Adam Thielen's your guy. Why Adam Thielen?
No. I'm saying Adam Thielen was in the championship.
I was going to say
last
Adam
year.
Stroke. There's no way he's saying Adam.
Yeah,
Thielen.
I was trying to be nice.
Adam
Okay,
Thielen.
yeah, no.
I didn't have this conversation with him.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
No.
Like,
He was the
okay.
championship.
Well, isn't Michael Wilson a good enough name?
I think it
I
is.
feel like he's too big now because he broke out. I was
now
looking
it
for
is,
like an Isaiah
but
Davis.
where was he 3 weeks ago?
Keaton Mitchell is one of the.
What about
Yeah,
Blake Corum is mine.
What about Theo Johnson?
Theo Johnson.
I mean,
Wandale Robinson too.
You guys know that Theo Johnson, hashtag Theo Johnson, that was my most drafted player in all of FFPC.
All of that.
I had him on 70 or 80% of the teams. I had Theo Johnson.
The Giants play the Raiders week 17.
Two deep want some deep sleepers. Jalen Coker and Jack Beck.
Jack Beck for sure. I'm going to give you another one. I'm going to give you
Coker. I like Coker.
I'm going to give you another one. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. I've been arguing with a couple of guys all day. I've been giving it to them, and they've been so I said one of my deep sleepers is Benson doesn't get activated, which I was right about. I go one of my deep sleepers if he is Amari DiMarcado. So I'm saying that, and I'm telling Nelson, listen, Nelson, I got a deep sleeper for you. I go Amari DiMarcado. He writes back to me, you mean a coma, not sleeper. So I guess I've been riding the DiMarcado. Oh, he's in the chat, Nelson. He
said Pearsall, and I was thinking over the bye week, I mean, they have to get this guy more involved in the offense. Like, he's the slot receiver on the team.
Guys, does Jake kind of look like Ricky Pearsall?
He does a little bit. He does a little bit.
Yeah, Jake.
He has no gunshot wounds, that's for sure. But he definitely looks like him a little bit.
If you want a deep sleeper, like a real deep sleeper, Ben Sinnott. I just picked him. I don't know if I got him, but on all my dynasty teams, I just put in bids for Ben Sinnott.
Joe Marino said it perfect.
How did we get Ben Sinnott?
Joe Marino. I know this Joe Marino. This guy knows nothing about fantasy football. Okay, take my word for it. And his only claim to fame is he takes Brandon Aubrey in the 12th round every draft. Okay? So trust me, this guy, he's trying to troll me, this guy. Okay?
I love a good troll every once in a while.
Once in a while, yeah. But the guy knows absolutely nothing about fantasy football. Take my word for it. If it's about Botox and doing his eyebrows, the guy's great.
Fellas,
thoughts on
Anthony
Diggs
Ivan,
Bam?
5407. Bam Knight and Stephon Diggs.
Diggs has a lot of incentives in his contract. I know Anthony Ivan very well. He's a good friend of mine.
Andrew Cooper. Andrew Cooper was talking about
Diggs has a lot of incentives in his contract, so he's definitely a guy that I pay attention to because you see teams at the end of the season make sure these guys get their money. It happens all the time. I know they're obviously a top playoff team, revenge game 2.0, like Sean Green said. Diggs is definitely going to be high on my list this week as a guy that should get a good amount of targets. My only fear with Diggs is he doesn't play that many snaps. They literally spread it out a ton. The Diggs of old is not there, but I still think he could be a guy that's viable for you. And then Bam Knight, is he going to be exciting? No. Is he the only guy there? Yes. Like, are we worried about DiMarcado?
If DiMarcado's out, Bam Knight's a solid start. But if DiMarcado plays,
but like, are you really excited about starting him against the Texans in a chance to like?
Oh yeah, no.
No, I mean, I'm probably going other options. I love Bam Knight.
The Texans defense is legit. The Texans defense
Texas
is legit.
defense. I'm not starting Bam against the Texas defense. I'm not
Yeah,
starting
Texas defense
anybody
legit.
against Texas defense.
No one was starting Pollard against the Browns last week, and it just takes one play. If
It
he's your best,
does,
I mean,
but
I'm not.
I'm
Like,
gonna tell you
my
something.
chances.
I have Tony Pollard on probably 6 or 7 or 8 playoff teams. I didn't even think twice that I was gonna start this guy. That was an outlier game. He's done nothing all year. I don't want to hear about Tony Pollard no more.
Yeah,
okay?
that was all fluke.
The guy was a wasted pick.
You just prayed
so
you
was
didn't play
Spears.
against him. I mean, that whole team has been a wasted pick. Every single one.
100%.
Not
Except
one
my
guy
man
who's been
Shamir.
like,
Except my man Shamir DK.
yeah, exactly. That guy has earned his paycheck a little bit at the end of the season.
A little bit, right?
Some
I will
spot.
say, not important. A not important note on Bam Knight. Last leg of a huge parlay against the Seahawks in November. Bam Knight, I needed over 29 yards or over 28 and a half yards. He was at 29, negative 1 yard. No. Then he was at 29. He was hitting. Carry, lost a yard, got hurt out for the game on the play, losing the parlay. So
that's
usually
how it works, man. Usually how it works.
In the history book. Some more questions from the audience submitted. Elijah from Chicago. How much stock do you put in ownership shares of players across other rosters in the finals when setting your lineups?
0.
I mean, and other people's. I'm going to play the guys. I'm going to start the lineups I need to start, regardless of who's.
I'm not going to pull like if you're telling me like if I'm in week 17 and I'm down 60 points, like I don't know how you even do that. Like no, I'm just playing my guys. Like if you're telling me like if I have a difference between like Terry McLaurin versus Rashee Rice and I'm down 25 points, maybe. But no, I'm just playing my guys. Like you're always going to have like 1 or 2 slots where you want to get a little cute. But sometimes when you do that, you can get yourself in monster trouble. You've seen I know Steve's heard and Jake's heard and Aidan's heard some horror stories of people that like try to get too cute and took guys out of their lineup that should have been in their lineup and cost them thousands.
We all get cute.
$1 million.
We all try to get cute. Everybody once in a while tries to get cute. But when you're in a shootout and you have a team that's legit, you really got to
play your guys.
Play your guys. So do not try to get.
Biggest horror story?
I didn't hear that, Aidan. What'd you say?
I said, what's your guys' biggest horror story? Like, what's your guys' biggest like regret?
Sammy Watkins.
You can't just say Sammy Watkins as a
2019. We were playing with the NFC. My dad and I we had to decide between Sammy Watkins and Sanders. We needed that huge game. Okay. Sammy Watkins, 0 points. Emmanuel Sanders had 9. It was the 14 team. We would have won the entire thing, and we lost it by 0.02 points. Sammy Watkins let a ball go right through his chest. 0
Mine
points.
was a DFS one. I was in the finals in DraftKings in Atlantis, and I built 2 lineups the night before. I picked the wrong lineup. The other lineup would have won $500,000.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
That one stings. That stings.
Yeah. Long time ago, it was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But
I'll give you a stupid play, kind of get cute play from week 13. Cost me a main team that was finished in 3rd, but that team was serious.
Michael Carter.
I bench DeAndre Swift, and I forgot who the hell I put in. I put somebody in. I like them. What happened?
Michael Carter.
No, that was a second team. There was 2 horror stories. There was. So I forgot who I put in, but I benched Swift for somebody else. Big, stupid. Dunze. I think I wanted to bench it. I don't remember. Something like that because I got so tilted. I tried to take it out of my mind.
This was Swift against the Eagles, right?
Then another team.
This was Swift against the Eagles.
I had Michael Carter starting the entire. I picked them up. I was short because I had Henderson on bye and somebody else on bye. So I have Michael Carter in the entire time. I'm sitting in my exact seat here in my office, my computer set up. I got my big screen right there, and I got NFL Live on. Okay, biggest mistake. So anybody out there, when you're about 15 minutes before roster time, try not to watch TV. Okay, because it's gonna make it's good. So I'm
You
listening.
see like somebody snowing. Just no. Just
it
don't
was
do
the Cleveland Browns game, and they turn around and they say, "Oh, they're gonna use both guys, Sampson and Judkins, and blah 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 blah." So I turn around on my computer. I said, "Click." I go, Dylan Sampson in for Michael Carter. You know how much I lost by? 0.2.
It gives you
Point,
nightmares.
I was sick
You
to my
look at some of
stomach.
those teams, and you're just like, that could do some damage.
And you're like, these teams are good teams. But sometimes you overanalyze and you get too cute, and that happens. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's really what it really comes down to. So, though, like the man says, don't be the sheep, be the wolf.
Yep.
All right? That's my advice to everybody out there. Okay?
100%.
Because everybody's human. Even these guys you see, all these big time players, they're all human. They all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Just sometimes you got to just go with your gut and double down and get exactly. Don't try to get too cute. Don't try to say, "Oh,
don't be starting Blake Corum because he had a big week last week."
I mean, I like Blake Corum, to be honest.
I love Blake Corum too. We both love Blake Corum because he's.
You know what the funny part is? Me and Terp have him on the bench on 2 of the high stakes teams, and we haven't even said one word about starting him.
1 week with a sprained ankle. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything serious. Just one of these.
Yeah.
Next 2 weeks.
Wait, I got a player to talk about that no one's mentioned. What about RJ Harvey?
He's an edge. RJ Harvey's an edge.
His schedule is hard. He has Packers, Jaguars, Chiefs.
And he doesn't get all the work, which is really annoying.
But I think that Harvey's going to get passing. He's got to score his points from the passing downs, right? Because he's not going to be able to run on a lot of these defenses.
Right.
But he's going to be able to be passing. He's efficient. He's been efficient. I got him on one really good team. All right. And I'm hoping that he's an edge. And I'm not even thinking about sitting him. So I'm not even thinking about it.
What are you doing with Emeka Egbuka tomorrow?
That's a good one.
Better off, he's not an automatic start.
I think you have to.
I mean, now that Otten's out, he could get a little bit. He could get 3 or 4 of Otten's 10-yard targets. But
Jake, can I flip this question on you? I'm going to flip this question on you. How much of the issue is Emeka maybe regressing, or how much of the issue is we need to have conversations about Baker? Or is it a mix of both?
I don't know.
Baker more.
Because some of these throws are just uncatchable.
Yeah,
I don't know how
the targets are there, but the quality of targets are not as good as they were.
But the match, this week, it's really hard to start him.
Baker's beat up.
What's the ceiling with the Falcons? What's the best you're going to get? Like, how's that game going to shoot out? And it could shoot out. Anything's possible. But, I could easily see, Bucks getting up 14-0, taking the air out of the ball, and then, you're getting 6 points from Emeka. You don't want to start your championship round with that. I mean, I had a concern also about Egbuka because I own a lot of them in home leagues, especially. Okay, so I have a big home league that I just took first place in points, first place, big payout, championships, a big payout, and I have Egbuka and I have Brian Thomas on the same team, and I still got there. Okay. Crazy.
And I got Higgins, which I got a first round bye, but I was a little nervous with Egbuka, right? So you got Evans activated, you got McMillan activated, okay? I think that the guy that goes away is probably Tez Johnson, okay? I think
he's doubtful.
But again, if you have, not everybody's lucky to have another option besides Egbuka to use. So,
Steve G, if you have Egbuka or Addison, who are you starting?
I would have to go with Egbuka, but it's very close.
It's Addison for me. Just for
it's very close. It's very close.
What about? I'll give you 2 more: Egbuka or Wan'Dale Robinson.
That Cowboys D line is going to terrorize McCarthy. He's not even going to.
And last one: Egbuka or Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers.
These guys aren't even close.
Yeah,
Addison and Egbuka's close.
Joking in the chat. Does Evans open things up for Egbuka though?
Yeah, I would. So. My opinion. Yeah, I see Joe's comment. My opinion. Yeah, I think it does but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
You also got to look at the other side. You got to look at the Falcons. Like, how are they scoring? Bijan is.
That's it.
There's no London. Like Mooney is average.
David Sills.
Like, what are we? How are they going to get to the point to where Ibuka is going to get that ceiling that you want in these rounds? Like, I don't see a 25-point Ibuka. I see a 6-point Ibuka. I don't see there's some in betweens, but like
I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic for 10 points. I would be satisfied with 10 points.
Lauster,
well, the thing that's
Shakir.
There's another tough one.
I don't think this one. I think this is the hardest one.
So Louis. So that's my boy Louis. That's one of the Sopranos. Louis like if you had to name one of the Sopranos, he would be like Silvio Dante. This guy, all right. He's very, very sharp. He's very sharp. But Shakir, I think I might. It's close too because Shakir hasn't been doing anything either.
Probably the closest one.
Yeah, but yeah, it's close.
Probably Ibuka. I think.
Look at Tampa Bay's schedule. It's Tampa Bay. They got the Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, or Dolphins. Like, yeah, the Dolphins looks good, but like with Evans back,
you don't know. You can't. This Ibuka. We're gonna see tomorrow night.
Yeah,
we're gonna see tomorrow night. So if you know the problem is it's a shootout week. It's not everybody's gonna be able to have somebody to replace Ibuka with. Okay. So, I mean, you have to say if you can replace him, fine. If not, you got to, roll with the punch and see what happens. And then you can adjust next week.
Are you starting any Bucks receivers like confidently? Like Buka,
Mike Evans. I mean, if you have Evans, you got to fire him up.
You got to fire him up for just that outlier
so?
that he can put up that 30-point.
Because you know what's going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. Evans is activated. He hasn't been out there. Emotions are high. Baker's going to look for him. He's going to be his first read target. And I'm sure he's going to draw coverage. But, I mean, if you have Evans, I'm firing him up.
You got to fire him up because you haven't fired him up all year. You sat on him all year. What are you going to wait now?
100%. 100%. But, look, again, these are all calls that we could be right. We could be wrong. You got to go with your gut sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
And most people are going to be on the side to sit Ibuka or sit like, I'm not going to use Godwin because you should never be playing Godwin, but guys like that, and that could be the differentiator between you winning.
I gotta be honest. With Evans back, it maybe Godwin's the beneficiary of less coverage.
It's possible.
Maybe Godwin is
clicking that button with $1 million on the line.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, this is roughly the timeline you would think Godwin is somewhat getting back to full health, but in all likelihood, that's probably next season. I think I'm buying the dip on Chris Godwin next year because he's probably going to be like a 10th or 11th round pick.
Never buying Godwin.
It's gonna be. We're gonna get our answers tomorrow.
0%, and I'll be out next year 0%.
Guys, I want to get to a question from Joe King before. He said, "How many points do you need this week to avoid only contrarian plays? Are teams dead that don't score 170 plus this week in those championship sprints?"
I wouldn't say dead, but they're in
deep trouble. Unless you're a top 25, 30 team and you have that average and you can afford to get a lesser.
It comes down to the structure of your team. If you have guys on your team that could blow up, yeah, you always have a chance. Like, you can always put up that 220, 230 that can get you back in it. But if you're putting up 110, 120 points this week, you're
done.
You're dead.
You're done. You don't even think about it.
You're dead. You the ceiling guys, you can have all the ceiling guys in the world, but there's going to be somebody that puts up 180, 190, 200 at the minimum this week. So you just got to hope that, like, if you're a Jahmyr Gibbs owner, Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy that just separates you from everybody else.
We're going to see we'll see a 220-point week this week.
I'm sure there's a lot of good matchups.
100%. I hope it's one of my teams.
That's all we could ask for. We had that 210 team. Me and Steve G had a 210-point week last week in the Gorilla Championship without McCaffrey. So
week 12. I have a big Gorilla team. I think that's in like 50th. All right. Week 12, that team put up 240 points.
That's all you need. 1 week, like this week, you put up
240 points,
and then the blood starts flowing. That's when you start like getting a little tickle.
I mean, let's hope. So who's asking? Someone asked. Tom's asking about Achane. Is it Gordon or Wright?
Well,
Who knows?
I'm not putting that up. I'm not putting that into the existence.
I mean, I have a lot of Achane. I have a lot of Achane, but you want to be an objective podcast here, boys. You got to answer the question. You know what I'm trying to say? I have a ton of Achane. I have a ton, and not only that, I have cuffed with Gordon.
I don't have any.
It's Jalen Wright, but Achane's playing. Achane, he didn't break anything. He could have played last week. I think
you just got to worry that their team is dead. Are they going to cut back his work? I mean, Achane's a league winner. Achane's a guy that can put up 50.
Why would they cut back his work? There's no reason for them to cut back his work. They're legit in the playoff hunt now. They need him. He's the only explosive player on the team.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that Darren Waller comes to life. I actually picked up a lot of Darren Waller. Shout out to Abib Tobo, put me on him.
You're hoping Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play.
Marvin Harrison cannot play another down.
Listen, guys. Let's discuss this Michael Wilson phenomenon. Okay, so you got even if Marvin Harrison Jr. plays, okay, he's still going to get work. He's not going to get what he's giving now.
He's not getting what you want to get there.
But again, you never know because Marvin Harrison Jr. is soft. Okay,
he is, and that's a guy that I think everybody's been wrong about.
He's soft.
Hear me out. Does part of you want Harrison to play this week because he'll draw cornerback one coverage from the Texans, making it easier for.
I don't think he's going to play this week. I don't think he's going to play this week, guys. I don't think he's going to play this week, and even with I still think that Michael Wilson's going to get 12 to 15 targets. Now, what he does with them, that's a whole different animal. But he's going to get 12 to 15 targets. Another interesting fact that just came out? Shout out to my man Nelson Sousa, who owns the most Troy Franklin I've ever seen in my life. Pat Bryant is out with a hamstring this week.
Yeah.
That's another interesting because I have some Troy Franklin, and you got to fire. He's been down the last couple of weeks.
You got to fire because you've seen the ceiling.
You've 100%.
Good name.
100%. So Pat Bryant's out. Troy Franklin back alive. Troy Franklin.
I'm with it,
guys. Troy Franklin in the chat. Is Chase Brown a league winner?
Is who?
Chase Brown.
A lot of people.
I don't think so.
A lot of people have him.
Listen, Chase Brown is probably lower owned. Chase Brown, Aidan, how owned is Chase Brown in the main event?
6%, 53 teams.
Great number.
That's the number you want. You have a Chase Brown team. That's enough. What about Omarion Hampton?
It's a good one. Hampton is 55, 6.24.
That's another one. Imagine you have a Chase Brown or Omarion Hampton team going into this play. It's not out of the question.
Tough.
I mean, I think I have an Achane Omarion Hampton team.
Tough schedule for him. Chiefs and Texans.
Not great.
That's tough. What's up with what about the receiving options on the Chargers though? Gatson, Vlad, Johnson, Allen.
I don't want to talk about Ladd McConkey. The guy knocked me out of a couple of leagues. I don't want to Ladd McConkey.
What do you do with them? You're benching Johnson and Allen and probably Gatson at this point, but are you benching Ladd?
I mean, it depends who else you have. But
depends, yeah.
Justin Herbert.
I mean, I got to be honest. You know what? The irony of a Ladd McConkey to me is, I didn't draft much of him because I thought when he was being drafted is on one team. I got Ladd McConkey, and it's a phenomenal team. And I got to outscore Cameron Dicker. I'm up by 10, and I got to outscore. So I'm plus 10. He's got Dicker, and I got McConkey. It's a team that me and Hubbard did together. Okay? And we're we're cruising into the finals.
Easy. Hard.
Disgusting.
Hard. That's what they're the ones that not sleep for a week.
Disgusting.
To answer Sean's
you wake up the next morning
Chase
and you're sick to your stomach.
5%.
Chase Brown's interesting. Chase Brown's interesting. I started so you guys were talking about drafting early, drafting late, drafting this, drafting that. So I drafted a ton early. I drafted a ton late. Okay. What I'm doing this year is the following. Okay. I am going to take my wife and my kid in July. I'm going away for 3.5 weeks. I'm going to let the big boys that I'm going to draft with, because I'm going to partner with all my guys. I'm going to let the big boys handle the July drafts. I'm coming back, and I told her, I said, when I come back, do not bother me. Do not talk to me. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be drafting all day. I don't want to hear it. Okay. And cancel out Labor Day weekend. Okay. Booked. Labor Day weekend. We can have a barbecue and go somewhere the week before
every
for
20 minutes,
4 or 5 hours. Lock those out because yes, that is tourist season. Mm-hmm. There is no better time to draft than that time. Okay. And not only that, here's another thing. Okay. So when you're drafting, like I'm going to draft the same volume I draft in the FFPC. I'm just going to draft it at a different time. I might even draft more next year. Right. Okay. So I'm going to draft the same volume, if not more, but you learn lessons. So I'm taking the early main events, right? I'm drafting not the slows because the Sharks don't like the slows. No. But when you're in the early main events and you got to draft against the guys in that draft room, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm scared or I'm worried or I can hang with them. They know I can hang with them.
It's just what it is.
They know I can hang with them.
But it doesn't matter. You don't want to.
You throw the smartest guy, and I never met the guy. The smartest guy is Chad Schroeder.
Doesn't draft anything early.
He doesn't draft anything early. Okay. And he'll listen, I drafted against him in other leagues and in this leagues. Okay. He started probably, I don't know. I want to say like in August he started.
Yeah, that's when he starts every year.
The smartest thing.
Yep.
And he just drafted every draft possible.
Yep. He doesn't mess with any of the early drafts. He doesn't even look at it.
He does it. It's just because he's like, why am I throwing this money away? It's not throwing it away. I mean, you win some, but it's a lot better.
You got to watch all the preseason games. You probably watched all of them.
Yeah.
It's not even about the preseason games. What's a preseason game really going to do for you? Who's playing? I mean, yes, it's going to. I'm lying. You have to watch every snap because you're not going to.
Camp reports are probably more important than preseason stuff.
Because you're going to see a running back that you might say, "Oh, wait, who's this guy?" Put him on my radar, but it's not going to really give you an edge in drafting, except in that 19th and 20th round, okay, or 18th round. Yep. And you have to really there's so many options. You might have to just keep guys on your radar after that. You know what I'm trying to say? Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying not to watch preseason because I watch every snap because I'm a sick human being. Okay, I'm a degenerate. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is that. You have to balance your drafting and forget about me. I'm like an average Joe, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? But guys, the bigger guys, it's a disadvantage to them to draft early, in my opinion, because you're in a draft room with guys and they already have they have their strategy played out, right? And you're looking. Oh, look at this player. Why is this guy taking this guy in this time? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So.
Margin for error is a lot less.
Yes. You're not going to get an edge. You're not going to get a guy that you think is going to drop when you're in that room,
And even if you do, you're probably going to have other traps that you fell into above that. So
I played a Beeb in 2 main event finals. I mean, it's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun.
It's not fun. It's not fun.
It's just not fun.
You see those guys in the rooms, you can say whatever you want. It's not about you wanting to compete against them. You don't want to draft against them. It's just what it is.
They draft from round 1 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and they don't and they're not going to miss. No. You draft. Listen, one of the there's a couple of guys that draft that are those are 3 of those guys are. You're not going to get an edge on them. There's no edge in those drafts. Okay, you draft against Abib, Nelson, Hubbard, Chad, guys like Glenn Lowy. You're not gonna get an edge on them. They're structurally. You understand what I'm saying? They're structurally. It's not gonna happen. You got to get lucky.
No, they're the same guys that the Thursday free look. They take the kickers. They take the defense.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like people
You take
don't
the four-string receivers that like the Quentin Johnsons of the world.
Like you take like a Turpin week 1. If he goes off for 20, you start him. You know what I mean? Like,
and if not, you just cut him.
It's little things. Like you're starting off week 1 with max points, 1-0. It matters. Trust me.
It does matter.
And sometimes those free look kickers and the free look defenses are important.
Yeah. And if it works out and you get a 15, 20-point defense without doing anything.
Listen, the bottom line is that what we're making out of all of this in what we should kind of like resonate. There's no one perfect way to do things.
No.
You always got to evolve. And you have to try to be ahead of the game. And the only way you can listen to all the I've said this before. I've said this when I was on with Balky. You can listen to all the XM radio. You can listen to every podcast possible. If you don't watch football, if you don't understand football, if you can't see an edge in a situation that's evolving before it hits there, that's how the top players they operate. They're ahead of you 2 or 3 weeks, and you have to get to the point where you're ahead 2 or 3 weeks on waivers. If you're not, it's pure luck.
Listen to the people that put their money where their mouth is.
100%.
A great podcast that we watch every week is the Fantasy Empire. You know, they talk about, you know, that's what or Theo Greminger on Fantasy Points. You know, you want to listen to the people who put the money where their mouth is.
Yeah, anybody that puts no dollars invested, some of those guys are sharp. I'm not saying they're dumb, but
honestly, those are the only two. Those are the only 2 podcasts I listen to. I listen to Theo, and I take the Dynasty Empire because I play against those guys. Okay, so you know that they know what they're doing.
The only 2 podcasts I listen to.
You don't want to listen to too many. You don't want to listen to.
No, listen. I listen. So I've learned. I listen to all of them. I listen because I'm in the car. I turn it on because I'm driving a lot. I'm going here and there. But sometimes you listen to them to laugh because when they're talking about players that you picked up 2 weeks ago, kind of makes you feel better. You know what I'm trying to say?
You see some of these people on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, like, oh yeah, these are the best free agents to pick up, and they're talking about like Michael.
Well, remember they cater to like the Yahoo, the ESPN leagues. They don't, not everyone does. Like not Blake Corum isn't owned in every home league. You know what I mean? Obviously, in every.
I had to bring Jake into one of my home Yahoo leagues because a guy wasn't setting his lineup, and I needed somebody to step in. Okay. And
5-0.
Jake 6-0. Knocked me out of the playoffs. But what was I going to say? There was nobody on the wire there. So some leagues don't. Some teams, some leagues don't have it. But if you're not a few weeks to success, if you wanna to succeed playing like this, some people do it for just to have fun. I mean, it's fun to me. I have fun doing it, but I'm a degenerate. I like playing all these leagues. My Tuesdays and Wednesdays don't exist, and I have guys that draft with me. Okay. So I have guys that help with waivers that are sharp, like the kid Louis that's in the chat. You guys have met Michael. You met them all you met Michael Reddy and Michael Carbone. You met them all these guys are all sharp kids. Okay. They actually took over the KFFFC. They're like the Junior Sopranos there. They have a couple of teams with legs. They have. So they really like made their mark. Like and I have a feeling they're gonna win because they followed my lead on a few of these, like Michael Wilson and stuff. So Michael Reddy and Carbone and Louis and these guys, they actually, they talk just like we talk. They get it together. I haven't interfered, so the KFFFC can't give me any credit. Farrell tries to give me credit, make me feel better. Nope. Absolutely not. You know what I'm trying to say? I didn't do anything, and I'm actually going to let them kind of run with it. Okay? I told Farrell I would do that Super Sunday thing with him. Okay? I promised him because I actually like Farrell. You know what I'm saying? I got a soft spot for him.
Best, man.
Yeah, I really like Farrell. So I said that I'm gonna have somebody draft with me. All right. So I'm gonna have, I don't know, the young guys aren't gonna draft in that Sunday draft, but it's gonna be the first draft, I guess, of the draft season. I guess pretty much. I guess they do it. Balky's in it. So I'm gonna have Sousa do it with me. Okay. And I'm gonna have. I mean, he's not coming to Kentucky. I mean, that's for sure. But he'll be on the phone with me, and we'll take it from there. But you gotta listen. You gotta enjoy it too. You gotta have fun. You gotta joke around like we're joking around. You can't get upset. You're gonna lose. Sometimes you're gonna make money. Sometimes you're not gonna make money. But the friendships and the experience of what we do, you can't give it back, right? I can't get. I can't get back the experiences ever. The ones I had in Vegas, which are great. I can't, like the friends I've made here, you guys and other dudes that I used to draft against, I draft with now, and you can't exchange that for money. It doesn't work that way. So this is, and I recommend anybody who can get to Vegas, go out there, because it's just a different, FFPC is a different, it's a different experience, man. It's huge. You go there, you feel like you're at an NFL draft, man. It's great. People are great there. Alex, Dave, Chris Lambert's the best. You can't get better than her. She's number one in my book. Mm-hmm. And you get to meet you guys, right? And you get to meet Terp. Terp's a little scary on the podcast, but in person he's a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? Aidan, you think is like 5'6". The guy's 6'9". Yeah. All right. And the guy's a workaholic. The guy don't put the camera down. The guy talks about. I don't like taking. The guy doesn't stop. Aidan, come on, let's go get something to eat. No, I got stuff to do.
He ain't lying.
I'm working. Hey, and Jake's
I got burned out. I got 162 teams, right? Or something like that, not counting everything else. Wow, I burnt out. I had poor Sean Green go do the bare knuckles. We had to prep him. at the game. I go, Sean, I have no energy. I go, I'm gonna give this team to you. And I gave him like 10 names. And I go, Sean, in a pinch, when you don't remember, just remember some of these names. You know what I'm saying?
It's a true.
I was impressed. He drafted 28 rounds on
28 rounds.
I think I let him down. I'm like,
10 minutes.
He doesn't care whatsoever. You're good.
Yeah. Fellas, I think that's where we're going to wrap up. I think that's where we got to wrap up on those wise words from Steve G. Why would we not?
100%.
Friendship. Hey, don't be the sheep, be the wolf. That's all you got to remember.
And that's I got to. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a little sign, put it over my computer, just so I remember it, because that's coming from the biggest wolf. Okay, that's coming from the biggest wolf. All right, and he's talking about a guy that's the goat. So you have one of the biggest wolves talking about the goat, and that he's the wolf. So you can imagine. I mean, he's playing poker tonight, but if he was on here, this podcast would have been 100 times better. It would have been. But
we'll get him on here.
We'll get him on. This is great, man. And remember, it's about camaraderie. It's about friendship. We all want to make money, but at the end of the day, you're never going to get these experiences back. Okay. Uh-huh. And, I want to shout out to all you guys, man. Shout out to Aidan. Thanks for all the pictures you took of me in Vegas. I look horrible in pictures. I appreciate it. Jake, you're still one of the prettiest guys I ever drafted with. Terp, always a pleasure.
Always.
I want to thank all the guys. I want to thank Abib for drafting with me, Hubbard, Nelson. I want to thank all those guys. It was a great experience. And when, money's irrelevant. It was an experience you're not going to get back. And I appreciate that friendship. You know what I'm saying? And Nelson, you owe me chili. If you're still listening, you made me chili a few weeks ago. You owe me chili, pal. Turkey chili this time. I'm on a diet.
It's a good one.
There we go.
All
Steve
right,
G, ladies and gentlemen. Steve, thanks for popping on. Fellas, the comments are here. I'm covering Terp's face. The people want more of these.
Sometimes you got to cover my face.
Hey, man, it's all good. We'll probably do some more of these. And, hey, I mean, before we know it, we're going to be doing the Never Too Early Best Ball.
I can almost guarantee you that one of our teams is going to be – we're going to be doing this in 2 weeks. One of me and Steve G's teams are going to be in the top 2 or 3 in the main event of the Gorillas.
Yeah, and we'll
really put some blood flowing on these.
Electric chair you guys Sunday. Just electric chair you guys live.
It's always been something that I wanted to do, like Monday night or Sunday night football, like having a chance at like $1 million, like literally being live, like full, like maybe some alcohol inside in me, like, and we'll just see how it happens.
See how it all plays. We'll look forward to that. All right, for Jake Venuti, Dave Terpoilli, Aidan Liquorie, we'll be back soon. We're the Goombahs. Good luck to all FFPC players in those championship rounds. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Good luck, everyone.
See you guys.